Hi, all. It's Jan from the Jan Files. Character matters. It especially matters if you are the President of the United States because you are the most powerful person in the world. You have an obligation to other Americans to act like it. You represent us in every way possible. And yet we find ourselves with a man who is incapable of telling the truth, with a man who has no empathy, no compassion, and no regard, literally, for other human beings. His behavior over the past weekend, especially in regard to Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Reiner, being murdered, is despicable, as I said yesterday. But there's a bigger conversation to be had. How did we get here? How did we elect a man with so little, let me put it this way, no morals? Donald Trump will lie. He will lie about something in the morning and change his mind and lie about it at night. He lies all the time. And his followers, his cult members, have zero regard for the truth either. And we find ourselves in a place where a man who has said awful, awful things throughout both of his terms, from shithole countries to grab them by the pussy, to Mexicans are rapists, to suggesting that the Haitian population in Minnesota or Michigan, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which of the M states it is, were eating cats and dogs, and this man was elected again. What does that say about us? I see people on Facebook and other social medias loving watching people being thrown on the ground by ICE, by people being dragged down the hallway, by people being literally kidnapped from the street without a warrant. And people are making all kinds of excuses for this behavior and also saying this is what they voted for. How horrific is that? You think you voted for a man who said, we're going to take the criminals out of the country. Well, that's not what he's doing, folks. 73% of the people that have been deported are not criminals. He's also actually deported American citizens. They've deported people who are legal residents. They have actually deported people who have fought for our country, that are veterans. This is America. This is what we say we're proud to be Americans. Not me. That's not the way I was brought up. I was taught not to lie. I was taught to have empathy, to have compassion. I was taught to have a relationship to my word. And when I was wrong, to be able to admit it, which I think is one of the biggest skills any parent can give any child. Because the relationship to who you are, what is inside you, and how you behave is everything. I don't want a kid that's a liar. I have two beautiful daughters. They don't lie. And I'm not saying anybody's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I have behaved in ways sometimes that I am not proud of. But I am not the President of the United States. I am also not the Speaker of the House. I am also not the head of the Senate. I was also not elected to represent all Americans. And that is Donald Trump's job. He's incapable of doing it. He is incapable of going more than a day without insulting somebody, from calling women reporters piggy to rude. This is not acceptable behavior, but somehow it has become that. And part of the reason is not only our collective responsibility as Americans for electing him, but the media. The media lets it go. I mean, literally, the men and women journalists that are standing around these women who have been called piggy and rude say nothing. That is unacceptable. We all must say something. And the fact is that if we can't change this, if we can't start to call it out every single time and see the media also do the same, we are screwed.